Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew.
Hi guys. All right, let's reverse all that. Good morning, let's start fresh. This is Coach Lew with Breakthrough with Coach Lew every Monday morning live here, coming from Accelerate Life University. So, my question for you this morning is, who owns your future? Do you believe deep in your heart and soul that you do? I mean, are you that person that would tell me, Coach, I own my future. No matter what comes at me, I'm going to take it and make it into something amazing? Or are you going, well, the government's trying to control us. This person's trying to control us. My boss won't let me do what I need to do. Boom, 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 boom. You know, you could go on down the line. My spouse, my family doesn't support me. Or you might be that person that goes, you know what, I'm on the biggest, best role of my life. My wife, my husband, they support me. My family supports me, and I'm rocking and rolling. And you know what, no matter what the government does with currency, this, that, or the other, we're going to still be on top because, you know, we're going to adapt and I'm going to take control. Wow, that's a great way to feel, right? But let me ask you a question. Do you feel that you have control over your health, your finances, your relationships, your business, and your career? Well, let's look at that. Do you really have control over your health? Coming off of the whole COVID thing where people were terrorized into getting shots that they did not believe in getting, or else they would lose their jobs, get kicked out of the military, everything else. So are you really in control of your health? And you might say, heck yeah, coach, I stood strong, or I made a decision to get the shot because that's what I thought it was the thing to do. That's up to you. That's not for me to decide for you. You know, I have my belief, and each person has their own beliefs when it comes to something like that. But if you felt that if I don't get a shot, I'm going to lose my job, I got to do it, you are not in control of your health. If you said, you know what, even though I know it's new and everything, but I'm going to get this thing because I feel that it could save my life, well, then you were in control of your decision. And if you said, no, I'm not taking this shot, you were in control. But the person who did it because it was the right thing to do, or they had to do it to keep their job, you're out of control. You've given up control, okay? So whether you did or didn't, that's up to you, not for me to decide for you. Your finances, okay? Are you in control of your finances? Or do you just, put your IRA money in an IRA and, well, I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do? Or are you actively involved in it? Or in your finances, maybe let's go a micro down here a little bit. Do you have a business that you're in control of? Or do you have a job that you make the same amount of money each week no matter what you do? Who's in control of their finances? And I would say the business person. And some people that are in business are like, hell no, the market controls me. That they might make less than they make at a job at times. But the opportunity's there. What about your relationships? Do you choose the people you're around? That's said time and time again, you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do you choose wisely with that? Well, I can't. I gotta be with my family, and they're not, they're negative, and they're this. You choose your peers. Love your family. Choose your peers, and sometimes your family's a great peer group if they're supportive of you, and you're doing things together. That's amazing. But if you're around people that are telling you tone it down, don't take any chances. Oh, don't. You're not that kind of person. You got a distance from that. What about your business? Well, if I put up an American flag in my business, I'm afraid I might lose a few customers, or the blue line flag to support the police, or I don't dare say I support the police, or I'm this political party or that political party. I don't care which side you're on that. You have a right to decide your political party, but be proud of it. Whatever you support, okay. Whatever you support, be proud of it. Whoever you are, be proud of it. Don't sit there and go, well, I got to dumb it down for in case one person out of a million are offended. Okay? The only way we get offended in this world, and I'm not saying disregard people's feelings or be ignorant or be hateful or hurtful. The only way you get offended in this world is if you're not living up to a standard. If somebody calls you a name and you're really offended, it's kind of, you probably believe they're right. If you know they're wrong, if you call me, if you say, Coach, you suck, I'm not, whatever, you're entitled to your opinion. If you say, Coach, you don't care about people, that's gonna hurt, because that's why I do this, because I care about people, I care about community, I care about getting our world to live properly and be decent to each other, and respect each other's differences, and don't push your agenda over somebody else's. Everybody's got the freedom to choose, but don't force me to change how I talk, speak, dress, or anything else just to satisfy your differences. The same as I'm not going to ask you to change yourself to satisfy my differences. I'm not going to ask you to use certain words that I use. If you don't like the word step up, to get moving on Monday morning and you call it get up, rock up, I'm not going to ask you to change those words. If you want to wear gray shoes, and I don't like gray shoes, you go ahead and wear your gray shoes. I don't care. That's your right. Okay? But that's my whole point. But, in business, are you really in control of your business? Do you really set the standards in your business? Or do you bow down and go, well, I might lose one customer. How about worrying about pleasing the 99 customers by doing what? Not by kissing butt or by, censoring yourself or not being 100% of your integrity. No. How about serving your customers at the best level, no matter who they are, where they come from? You give them the best of you. Now you're in control of your business or your career. You go to work and you go, well, it doesn't matter what I do. This manager's never going to let me grow. Well, let's face it. That may be a problem with the manager. That manager might be a little power hungry, but you know what that usually is? That's usually fear. They're afraid that if they don't control, they're going to lose status. They might lose their job or their opportunity to climb the ladder. What if you just open that door and just truly be helpful and truly do the right things when you go to work instead of everybody getting around the water cooler, going about, oh, how bad this manager is and what a jerk. Confront it head on. Hey, dude, you know what? We can grow as a team here, or I can bypass you. I'd much rather grow as a team. Let's get this together. But, stop giving up your control to anybody else. Do you feel controlled by the government? Oh yeah, they're making us do this. Who's making you do what? All right, you know what? Pay your taxes, pay your fair share. Do what's right. Don't break the law. But no, and don't ever stand for totalitarian government control. Seriously, the day we stand for that is the day we should be just give it up. Jump off a bridge, because America's free for you to make your choice, me to make mine. Go as far as you want. It's amazing. But the government's not controlling you. They're not There are countries where they knock on your door and count your children and throw in a loaf of bread and you're told that's what you get to eat for a week. And if they want to take your kids and put them in some island for the creepers to go to, they're going to do it whether you like it or not, or sell your kids into slavery. We live in a different world. Now this does go on in the world and it's horrible. But, friends of mine that came from Iran years ago, we were talking and they were like, oh, we are so blessed to be in this country. And so, he said, we lived in a world where people were getting dragged out of their homes and beheaded in the streets just because they said something bad about the government. He said, people in this country should really appreciate what they have. And I said, I think most of us do. But sometimes we need a little reminder. But that's just my point. Government control, we're far from that. And don't ever let it go there. And I'm going to let it go there because I could go on for hours on that. What about your parents? Oh my God. I can't tell you how many 20-somethings and 30-somethings still are under the thumb of a parent that thinks they got to be in control. Okay? As parents, we always want the best for our children. But we don't always deliver the best advice. Oh, don't set yourself up for that. Get a good job with benefits and a pension. Go work in your cubicle every day. It'll be stable. Well, that's no way to live a life, unless that's exactly what you want. If that's what you want, God bless you, go for it. But, I'll never forget my mom had two things. She said, you should get a good career with one of these companies, go to work with Chevy or something like your uncle. And, he's got a good career. I don't want to be on an assembly line somewhere or be sitting in an office in the middle of a plant. Okay, it's not my thing. Not that I'm afraid of work, not that I'm afraid of labor. I've got the injuries to prove it. Still do a lot of hard work in our businesses. But, and then the other one was, well, maybe you could find a auctioneer that's older that would take you under his wing and teach you the business. And, like my dad passed early. Yeah, I don't want to be under somebody's wing or in somebody's shadow. What? Do you think I'd be here talking to you if I had spent my life under somebody's wing or in somebody's shadow? No. Was it always easy? No. There were times when I was younger where I'm like, where the heck's the next meal coming from? Let alone the car payment or the fuel to put in the car to go do some business. Okay, I've been there, done that, and I've been where I could have almost retired back before the real estate crash in '08. So my point to that is sometimes the people that care about you, they're not trying to control you, even though it feels like it. They're trying to protect you. But you got to watch for that, because that's a trap. What about your spouse? Oh, honey, we can't afford to do that, because if you give up your job, we might go broke. We got kids to feed. Okay? How many people in this world that have made it big have continued to feed their kids even through tough times of starting out a business? Okay? But if they hadn't, they would have lived average lives. Their children would see them go to work 9 to 5, come home, try to balance a checkbook, I'll never forget my mother always trying to make ends meet when we were kids. Why do we want to make ends meet? Why don't you go work? Why don't you go do something that has impact? So what, if we go a little bit hungrier than we're hungry already, maybe, there's a better end result. And I love my mom, but she taught me a lot of the ways, and so did my dad, of not to be. There were some things they taught me the way to be. They taught integrity. There was integrity there. But they didn't, and one was entrepreneurial, dad was, and mom was just, how to scrape by. And you wonder why they got divorced. You think about that, because they were always trying to control each other. She didn't want him to work so much, and he wanted her to step up and do some work in the business. Wow, what a mismatch there, right? So just saying, or what about your kids? Oh, Dad, don't start a business. You're 50 years old. Oh, don't do, Dad, you're kind of old for that. You might get hurt. Or what about fear? Does fear control you? Or do you control fear? False evidence that appears real has always been the thing that people say. Sometimes it's real evidence that appears real. Okay? You fall into a pit full of cobras, that's a real threat. You should be scared. You should take immediate action. You're not going to go, hi guys, let's all get along. I'm not afraid of you. Come on in for a big hug. You will be dead. Okay? Unless you're the snake whisperer. So fear has its place. It's something to make you aware, but it's also where all the juice is on the other side of the fear. And I'm going to give you an example doing firewalks. Several Tony Robbins events have done several firewalks throughout time. So doing the firewalk, when you're like the hour and a half before everything ramps up, you feel the energy, you start to go, shit, I'm going to walk across fire. I don't know if I'm going to do this. Probably most people are going to skip it, and I will too. I'll just follow the masses on this one. First time out. So you get out there and you walk in and you hear the drums and you see the fire and and you're like, well, maybe it's not real fire. Maybe it's just, like newspaper sparkling lit on fire so that it looks like coals. And so you get up there and it's like, nobody's copping out. These people are walking and this is real fire and this is a real long fire lane. And you get in that state and you get through the other side. And in retrospect, going back and working those events, I was thinking one of the guys that catches you and stops you at the end so that you can't just keep walking when you hit the end of the fire lane, because then they spray your feet off with a hose. in that split second timing of when the catch team catches and they spray your feet, because if you come out of state, you'll get burned because you got coals on your feet. And it's a very, I don't know if I want to say metaphysical type of thing, but it does definitely prove the mind over matter. So going back and working the event, long story short, you get across that and you go, holy crap, if I can do that, what else can I do? And I still, after a couple of them, had it in the back of my head of going, is it really that hot? Is it, just kind of made to look that? So going back and working the events, everybody works fire lane. It's real. And it's like, holy crap, this is no joke. It really set in. And it was funny because the first time I worked one, they immediately, when all the participants had gone through, they said, okay, crew, throw off your shoes, walk your lanes, go ahead and do your walk. It's the only damn time I got burned. Threw off my shoes and, ouch, shit, let me get across this. Whoo, yeah. So next day we're all in the crew meeting in the morning, bright and early. And, I noticed most of us are kind of hobbling a little funny and, a little out of sorts. I'm like, hey, did you get burned? Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. We cross the same fire as 3,000, 4,000 participants, and very few people get burned. There's some times, snap out of state, you get some burns. And I'm like, but yet all of us got some burns. And I was like, what's the difference? Come on, let's brainstorm. There's got to be something to this. Well, what we came up with as a group is that we didn't have the preparation or the time to do it, and we were so attuned to the safety of the people that we knew the danger if they come out of state, that it was a little different. We went in without that kind of blind faith that I'm getting to the other side, went in a very disoriented, disrupted, unprepared, not in state, okay? Almost maybe with a little bit of fear because you know what's really there. So who had control there? You lose control of the situation, but you also lose control of here. The situation was the same. The meaning and the feeling of being ready, that whole hour and a half prior to a firewalk of everybody boom, 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 and the drums and the music and and everybody getting psyched up, we didn't have that. We were focused on safety, on this, on that. And I think that's like the whole thing in life. Control is not about leading with an iron fist. Control is about controlling the meaning. This is deep. The meaning that anything has to you. This is the difference between the business person that failed when COVID hit. And people will tell me, no, my business got put out by the government. How come some businesses stayed in and stayed above water? How come some businesses grew? How come some businesses failed? And you might go, well, Coach, for yourself. You owned a gym during that time. The county shut it down, and they were. They even had the sheriff's department. The goofball was not even smart enough to call from a block number. My phone pops up SCSO, and I'm like, good afternoon. And, hey, I'm looking for a gym to train at and a trainer, and I hear you're the last one standing, and da-da-da-da, so I want to come in. And I'm like, we've been ordered closed, but I can train you online. I can create a program for you. I can do a remote type of program till we get going. And I'm sitting here going, do you think I'm an idiot, number one? Number two, I'm like, and he's like, oh, no. I said, hey, give me your name and number so that I can call you as soon as things get opened back up, though, if you need the in-person training. Oh, no, I'll get back with you. And I was like, number one, do you think I'm an idiot? Number two, is this really the best usage of your time as a law enforcement officer, trying to bust people for maybe going to a gym and doing something to take care of their body? And I know he was just doing his job, and I totally support our local law enforcement. They're amazing. But I was like, isn't there other things we could focus on, like shutting down some of the drug trade with all the horrendous amount of overdoses and stuff like that have spiked in the past few years in our area and stuff like that. And it's just like, wow. But the point is the control thing. Well, I had to close my business because the government said so. Why couldn't you go online? There were people that went online. Cassandra, the yoga girl out of Ottawa. My God, her channel exploded doing the online yoga during the COVID thing. Absolute explosion. She was good and had some followers before that, but I mean, she exploded. A lot of people just absolutely exploded because they went, okay, let me find the people that don't want to sit there and eat nachos in front of Netflix and gain the COVID 10 or 20 pounds. Let me get those people that are going, shoot, I can't go to the gym. What do I do? Well, reach out. Get these people. Get them, give them what they wanted, and boom. And the same little gym that was, closed down around the corner, the guy around the corner from him that might not even have been as good, put up a little camera and said, I'm going to do virtual boot camp classes. Sign up for them, guys. We're going to do this. You can do it in your living room, and I'm going to be right on your TV. And he stayed open, stayed alive. Didn't take a couple $600 checks and go, oh, I like this. I'm going to sit back and get supported by government. Come on. Seriously. But that was the difference, is taking control. Our business shifted, and you guys know the story on that. If you don't and you want to know more about it, I'll be happy to tell you more about it, but I don't have time on the show today. But a lot of the things we did shifted, and we kept a lot of the shifts in the innovations because they worked better. But we didn't go, oh, the government controlled us and shut us down. We went, how do we still service our clients, our customers, in a fashion that's safe? I'm not about being, reckless with people's health. Not that, it was what all it was made out to be by all the Center for Disturbing Control. Disease control in there, you see. Made it out to be. But, you still got to be sensible. If there's a stomach bug going around, I'm not going to encourage my staff to come in and be puking and dealing with the customers and passing that crap on. But the thing is we took control of the situation within our parameters. When are you ready to take control of your situation within the parameters? Now, and I get it that you might say to me, I live paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. I can't leave this job right now. I've got to go in. I've got to deal with this manager. I have to do this. I have kids to feed. Okay. Could you not buy a pack of cigarettes if you smoke, not buy beer this week if you drink beers, not buy fast food and junk food and, go buy some stuff from meal prep and start saving, even if it were $20 a week, towards building your future, your business? We can always cut down some expense and put that towards some growth, because you need to invest in you first, in your growth, in your controlling of your future. I realize the decision to do it happens in a heartbeat, the snap of the fingers. I realize that the follow through takes time, effort, money, so you got to do it. Exactly. Don't buy the TV that's 3 inches larger for $300 more. Put some stuff to use. Go to, hey, Don, actually even a better one. Get the TV that's 3 inches larger. Come to the auction, buy it for a third of the price, because somebody else used it for a little bit, and not have to, use those innovations, do those smart things, and go, how can I get what I want, yet do it in a way that it doesn't cost me as much? And that can be time as well. How do you maximize your time to go to the next level and gain that control? I thought you'd like that one. But seriously, there are ways to maximize your time, your finances, your relationships, your business, everything else that are within your control. And there are situations that are out of your control. And those are the things that you take control of, what they mean to you and what you do with them. So would you like to take back control, or have the control you've never had in certain areas of your life? Because I've got 4 easy steps to owning your future now. You ready for this? Get your pens and papers out, boys and girls, and let's go to work. All right, number 1, make a decision here and now. Like right now, write it down. or use your voice memos on your phone if you're driving so you don't crash into somebody and blame me, that you and you only are in control of your future. Along with this decision comes committing to yourself that you and you only are responsible for your action or lack thereof. Okay, when you decide you're in control of your future, you also decide that you are in control of your outcome. Your success, your failure, your learning, whatever you want to call it at the end of a stint towards a goal or something, is on you when you take responsibility. No more blame game. We can't blame anybody else. Okay? You can't blame your spouse. You can't blame your boss, the idiot, the commander-in-chief, the whatever, however you feel. I mean, that is what it is. We gotta realize we need some major change, but we're not going to go down the political rabbit hole today. But you can't blame the president. You can't blame your police chief. You can't blame the county commissioners for your ability or inability to take action or your lack of action. Okay? Yes, outside factors can make challenges come up, speed bumps come up. What seems to be a brick wall gets thrown in front of you. These things happen. I'm not going to tell you, just go, nothing's going to get in my way. Hey, you're going to walk right into a wall, folks. Okay? You can't be blind to it, but anticipating, taking the meaning. What does this mean? When the governor shut the state down on a Thursday night in the middle of our auction, and Jen passed me a note and said, as of midnight, no more than 10 people in a building. First thing I did is look out there and go, who's my favorite 10? And I was like, shoot, I like more of them than 10. And then I was like, well, we got to do something. We can't just shut down and everybody go home, like a bunch of losing kids that just lost the baseball game. We got to step up. We got to go for a home run here. And we did. I didn't sleep for damn near 48 hours because we had another sale coming up on Saturday night. And we came up with this platform because I could have gone with a bid platforms like eBay that goes click, 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 place your bid. No, my people like a community. We're a community of people. So we stepped up and did something different. And it worked. And it worked better. And we still do it that way with some tweaks. But no more blame games. I could have blamed and said, I like DeSantis, but the asshole put me out of business. No. And he's not an asshole, by the way. I love our governor. But the deal is, I could have used that as an excuse to say, we're done. Or, oh, they're in control. No, we made it happen. Number 2, create a crystal clear vision of what your future is. You can't go through the fog going, I want to go somewhere. Okay? What is that crystal clear vision of what your future is? And equally important, write down what it's not. If you're addicted to heroin right now and you want to someday have a family and a business and this, that, and the other, and you've got this big dream, but this big monster comes and attacks you every night, what's equally as important as to what you want. Oh, I want to be clean. Well, I also can't use the drug. It's not an option to do that. Or drinking. Let's use something a little less dramatic. Drinking. I want to work out on Saturdays. Okay? That's a beautiful vision. I'm going to spend Saturday working out, be in the outdoors. Well, you can't go out drinking on Friday night and be so sick you can't get out of bed and do that. Equally as important to what it is that the crystal clear vision of what your future is, you need to know what it's not. Okay? If you're on the teetering point of opening a business and you're ready and you got to leave a job to do it, your future's working in your business, not continuing in a job that takes 40, 50, 60 hours of your week that is taking you nowhere or maybe even taking you further away from doing what you need to do to build your business. Okay, these are things that there's a lot more work you got to put into this. You don't just go, I don't like my job anymore, I'm in business, and not know what you're doing. Got to have that crystal clear plan of where you're going, but you also need to know what you're not doing, where you're not going. Number 3, you got to create a map or GPS. MAP is a massive action plan. Okay, so that's, GPS is a little more modern, but you got to know where you're going. If you're jumping in an airplane flying from New York to Los Angeles, You need the exact coordinates. You can't go, I'm going to head west and see what happens. You're going to fall out of the sky when you run out of fuel and go, boom. You're going to crash it. You need to know exactly where you're going, when you're going to pass Chicago, when you're going to fly over the Rockies, when you need to stop to get fuel, when you need this, when you need that, when timelines. What is the time frame? What is your trajectory? Exactly where you're going. It's amazing that almost every single plane that takes off to go land somewhere lands on a dime where they're going. Are they on track the whole time? Do they just go in a straight line? No, they get bounced around by the wind, have to avoid other planes, have to go up, down, around weather. Okay? It's not this straight line just here to there. Okay? You got to know that trajectory and how to adjust. And most importantly, who do you have to become to do this? Okay? If you want to run a marathon and you weigh 400 pounds and you can't even get off the couch, you got to become the kind of person that puts an effort into your body every day. Okay? And no judgment. If you're stepping up and doing it, hey, wherever you've been is over your shoulder, folks. It's gone. But you got to become the kind of person that gets up and exercises if you're going to run a marathon. If you're going to run a business, you got to become the kind of person who follows through and cares about your customers. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to go in this on the notion of, I'm going to get rich doing a business. You've got to fall in love with it. You've got to have the map. You've got to know the direction, and you've got to become the kind of person. Okay? Becoming who you become is the real joy of all this. Number 4, take the habits that made you succeed and keep them. All too often, we see it with diets. Oh, I eat a bunch more vegetables. I'm eating mostly salads. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I lost 10 pounds. That's awesome. Let's go have a burger and a shake. 10 pounds is coming back, baby. You can't just go and do these habits just long enough to get the goal and then you lose the habits. That's the real thing. Okay, the results came from the actions in your massive action plan that you actually followed through and did, but keep that who you became, those habits. Okay, in the morning I do celery juice when I get up. I bounce on the rewind. Let's rewind. I wake up, I pray, have a moment of gratitude. Okay, get up, have celery juice, bounce on the rebounder, do a little bit of yoga, because let me tell you something, if I didn't, from what I do to my body sometimes, I would lose my flexibility. Master Lee told me years ago, Lou, if you lose your flexibility, you lose your youth. Well, he said, if you remember nothing else I've taught you, remember that. And I remember nothing else he taught me, I remember that. But it was so true. So I do that. Initially I'm like, all right, this is going to be my morning routine. This is what I'm going to do. And then now I just get up and do it. It just is what I do in the morning. Because the habit, okay, once I hit the outcome and I'm like, all right, good. My mornings are good. They're nourishing. I feel good. My body feels better. I'm more energetic. And then I do this shower and then the shower and then or shower and then the cold splash and then go to work or do the show. The cold splash, boom, I'm alive. Well, guess what? I do that every single day of my life now. Not just when I need a boost of energy. And it used to be ever-living hell. I'd be like, oh my God, here goes this ice water over me. Now it's like, bring it on, boom, energy on. I don't fear it anymore. It doesn't bug me because I know what it is. But this is the habits that get you to a certain point, and then you release them because you hit it. Now, it doesn't mean you've got to do every single thing you did to get to a certain point. Sometimes there are things that are temporary to bring you to the next level. And then there's those habits that you build are really what it's all about. Now things go on autopilot. My morning routine is set. I don't have to figure out what is going to be my morning routine anymore. Okay? How would you feel if you got up and you had it so that it set you up to win every day? And you feel better, you get more done, you feel accomplished, and you don't have to go back and forth and sit there with your notebook and go, okay, now I'm supposed to drink the lemon water and wait 15 minutes before I eat. You step up and do it. Then you have your Life Boost coffee. Don't forget, I got to put the links in. Best coffee in the world. Why? Because it tastes good, number one. I'm a guy. What do you expect? Guys are more adapt to flavor. Ladies are a little more adapt to consistency in foods. But the reality of it is it's mycotoxin free. It's organic, single sourced, low acid, delicious, loaded with antioxidants. It's the best damn coffee I've ever had, and it's good for you too. Win. This is what I want to encourage you to do. Always double win. Okay, if that tasted horrible, it doesn't matter how good for you it is. I'm not going to consume it. I'm not going to do it. It's the same thing with exercise or anything like that. If you hate it, you better find something you like to do that gets you the same result. Okay, and moving period is not something to hate. But some people are like, I hate running. I love running, especially in the woods. But if you put me running up and down the sidewalk in the city, I'm out. I have no interest. But you put me in the woods on a trail, I can run. Some people like biking. I don't like biking. I don't want to bike. It's uncomfortable to me. Okay? But some people they hate to run but love to mountain bike. Well, why would I tell you you should run instead when you're going to go, I might run once a month if running's my only option, but if I mountain bike, I'll get out there every chance I get. Maybe somebody loves racquetball, but they hate running and hate bicycling. Well, get out there and play more racquetball. You see what I'm talking about? Now, there is things that in the health realm, and I'm not going to get into that. That's not what today's show is about. Like doing some strength training is a must, but it doesn't mean you got to go into a CrossFit class if you hate CrossFit. It does mean you need to challenge the muscles, etc. But you find ways to do that. Me, I love OCR races because they do it all. You got your cardio, you got your muscle, but you got to train for them. So that keeps me going through the stuff I might not enjoy as much as getting out there in the mud. All right, I've had you guys long this morning, but I really, really want to know that you're getting value. So definitely stick in with me on this. We're almost done. Bear with me. All right, so I know we're in unprecedented times. I know you're tempted to say wait and see. Okay, we've said it ourselves. Oh, I'd like to buy something, but let's wait and see what happens. Okay, well, you're going to wait and see, and you're going to be on your deathbed and still waiting and seeing, because whatever things are going to get thrown at us in the near future, we're going to have to find a way to deal with them. Okay? Whatever happens, whether we break into a civil war, world war, or we get our heads together and unite as a country again and go, stop with the hatred, stop with the bull crap, stop with this, that, and the other, and get on a path that's positive. Whichever way that goes, something's going to happen. We're not going to just stay static. You're never static. Either you're moving forward or you're going backwards, right? We've learned this time and time again on the show. So the truth is, if you look back to some of the good old days, when I was in college and we were eating ramen, or when I was 16 on my own with my own little apartment, living above a bar, trying to find my way, and how I could continue living as basically a kid. I can't imagine being 16 years old on my own now. It's tough enough then. But, now I look back and say, oh, those are some of the good old days. I had so much fun. I learned so much. Oh my God, life was so free. At the time, things were uncertain. I didn't know where my next meal was coming from half the time, or how I was going to pay my $150 in rent. I went and worked in the bar downstairs to help work off some of the rent. They didn't know how old I was. But, it might not have been the right timing to do certain things then, but what if right now will be tomorrow's good old days? Hear me on that. What if right now, today, this world we're living in that could seem like an ever-living hell at times, people want to make you believe it's hell, and at times it's crazy. What if these are the good old days when we look back tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now, and you're in the middle of living some of the good old days where you're learning and growing and going, oh my God, I'm making new distinctions, I'm making decisions, I'm stepping up against adversity. What if these become your good old days? I'll let you in on a little secret. They will be. And this is the time to take action. So in closing, I'm going to ask you one more question and be done. Would you rather go all out and know that you're in control, win, lose, or draw, or just plain learn, or surrender your life, your business, your passion to someone or something else to decide for you? That's a jail, guys. Step up. We all know we can't control what happens all the time, but we certainly can control two things: what this means to us, but what we also control is our action or inaction in any given situation that creates our true destiny. Two people face the same scenario. One person falls out, gives up. The other person steps up, learns and grows, and even might come away from it and go, you know what, I'm going to make sure this never happens to anybody else. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to expose what occurred. When the other person, took the easy way out and got addicted to drugs and said, because this happened, my life was over. Two totally different destinies with the same situation, the same challenge. Okay? So that's what creates your true destiny, is your decision, your meaning to go forward no matter what. So let's do one quick exercise before we go. Oh yeah. One more. You know who I learned that from? In the years of doing leadership and stuff with Tony Robbins and the years of programs with him and stuff, the one thing, it'd be midnight and we'd all be like, okay, Tony's done. Yep, this is the last thing he's teaching today, especially if you're on leadership or you're volunteering at an event or something. All right, Tony's about done. And he'd be like, there's one more thing before we go. 3 hours later, it's like, you're really done now? But you don't want to leave that environment. The same way I hope you don't want to leave this show. If you're getting value from it, you're going, okay, I got to get going, but damn, let me put it in my earplug, in my AirPod, and definitely not miss out on a minute of this. So here we go. Let's do this quick exercise and I'm going to cut you free. Picture your life 5 years from today if you keep going along doing what you've always done. Picture you don't take an active role, you just follow along with the government recommendations, your parents telling you to tone it down, be safe, or just stay in that job for security. There's gonna be a pension at some point. Well, what does that look like? How do you feel about yourself in 5 years? Who's in control of your life? Mom, dad, sister, brother, spouse, boss, manager, government? Maybe you did something stupid and it's the warden. That's prison, baby. You don't make any changes. It doesn't get better. It'll get worse. You don't go forward if you don't take an active role. You don't stay in neutral. You're going to go backwards, okay? Take a deep breath, clap your hands, shake it off, jump, do some jumping jacks, get moving. Now, close your eyes. Picture your life in 5 years. If you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Do this later. Picture your life in 5 years. If you take control today, act on those burning desires, those great ideas, and take massive amount of action, come hell or high water, you step up and rock it to the max for the next 5 years. You take the chances, you do the work, you believe, you grow. How does this life look in 5 years? What's the difference? Compare them. Write this down. One column on one side. If I don't and if I do. Who's in control? Who's in more control? You might say, well, the government still has some control. My parents still have some control. I live at home. But wow, things are quite a bit different. Okay? You can't control everything or everybody. Again, you can control that meaning, but which is the life worth living? The one where you just stay, keep your head down, keep going through, trudging through, or the one you take action and every once in a while you stumble and fall, you get up, you dust off the scraped knees, you go higher, you climb one step higher, you do these things that most people won't do. Contrast the two. Which one do you want? All excuses and bullshit aside, which life do you want in 5 years? Okay? All right. Get going then. Now, today, start. Immediately after the show, take an action that gets you going in the right direction. Need a coach? reach out to me. I'll be happy to put you on some coaching with me and really get you going. I realize that we're not all born with knowing exactly what to do or how to plan or the steps. That's where I come in. If you need me, you take advantage of this. You've got me. Get on the show every week. We're going to continue to do these trainings. This is not just a show. This isn't a hoo-hoo, look at Coach Lew. Yeah, it rhymes. Hoo-hoo, look at Coach Lew. This is about you. It's about giving you training and tools and actionable things to take advantage of that'll make your life change. The key is you got to turn the key. You got to take the action. I can teach you. I can guide you. We can go to the next level. You can coach with me. But my God, you got to turn the key. You got to open the door. You got to walk through the door. You got to do the work. But I'm happy to guide you. All right, you ready? Let's do this. Step up and get rolling, guys, because now is the time. There's no better time than now to start living the life that you deserve, that you choose, the destiny you want. And it isn't always what you pictured 20 years ago, what your destiny is going to be today. But I will assure you one thing, making a decision, taking the action, and following through will put you at a whole different destination than sitting back and going with the flow. If you jump in the Niagara River and try to jump over from Buffalo to Canada, there's a long time between that mouth of Lake Erie and the falls. It isn't so fast with the current of life going, the current of that river. If you don't literally swim your guts out, you're going to get carried over Niagara Falls. And that's not a way to live life, to just get carried over the falls at some point because you just went with the flow. Going with the flow is not for you if you're on this show. That rhymes. Hear that again. Going with the flow is not for you if you're on this show. This is Coach Lew, encouraging you to live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dreams. Have an amazing day, guys. Do not go with the flow. Let's get this done. Let's rock and roll and have an amazing day. Be blessed. Let me know in the comments what you did. Share this, please, with somebody who needs it, because if they need it, they need it. I think everybody needs it. Have a great day, guys. Be blessed. See you on the next one.
Ready to take it to the next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lew himself. As Coach Lew always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dreams.